Hey, Jabro. What's up, man? How you doing, man? Yeah, I did the teeth and the eyes. I'm not done them. I just finished the jaw, so now I'm just doing the detailing. But they're almost done. So how you doing tonight, man? I hope well. I'm doing fine. It's just too warm and to have to sit on a chair. Feel fine. Yeah. Humidity. Pain in the ass. Which version of ZBrush? I'm not sure. I just have ZBrush as I understand it. I didn't really... ZBrush 2021. I'm assuming the year is the version, just like with any Adobe product. Even though Pixelogic is who makes ZBrush, but I have just 2021 ZBrush. I like it, but honestly, I'm not sure if there's any major substantial differences between the versions. Oh, damn, I didn't have symmetry on. Always gotta check for symmetry. Hey, okay, what's up, man? ZBrush doesn't have a drastic difference as Blender, but they are significantly big. Well, I've never used Blender's sculpting tool. I hate Blender as a whole, though. Oh, that software never rubbed me the right way. I always stress to people it is one of the best beginner tools. I just personally don't like it. Well, I was looking at the price and I saw that they had something called ZBrush Core, which is cheaper, but don't have everything. So I was curious of what was missing. I'm not sure. I have not used ZBrush Core, so I'm not sure what it's lacking from the core software. I'm assuming it's probably going to be missing some brushes, maybe, and some of the more dynamic options you have on the side here. That would be my guess, though. I don't know definitively what it would or would not be lacking. But what are the basic tools in ZBrush? Basic tools? It's hard to really narrow it down. The basic tools? All of the brushes, the move, scale, rotate. I am not sure where I would begin with just laying out what the basic tools are. Most of the basic tools I use are the smooth brush, the move brush, clay buildup, stuff like that. Again, I'm not entirely sure what I would specify to answer your question. It's kind of one of those things where I don't even know what I would consider just the basic tools. Alright. Crap. This is gonna take a while. Hey, Nightlock. You gonna do all of this by yourself, or are you hiring other people to help you make the models? As of right now, due to lack of budget, it's just me. Why? You worried about it? Hope not. Worried about work overload? That don't be. I will adapt. I am a very capable person of adapting. Well, most of the time. Besides, a little bit of elbow grease from the creator goes a long way. No offense to Pierce, but if I could 2D draw like he could, I would be doing that too. Nah, he's good though. He's definitely worth every penny. Yeah, but don't worry about me overworking myself. I am very adaptive. Door camera 40K. Nice music. Yeah, it's the tavern music from World of Warcraft. I find it's the most relaxing to work with. Although, I'm not listening to what you guys are right now. I'm listening to Powerwolf while I work. Right? Why are you up at 1:30 in the morning? Working. 1 one-man army working on a whole hobby. Yeah. When I'm not working, progress isn't being made, so I gotta be working. Plus, you know, I enjoy it. How you doing, though? How you doing, man? We can hear the lowest quality of the song through your mic. Damn, I'd love to listen at full volume. But I also don't want to get copyright struck just because I'm listening to music. Alright, where was I? This song is nice. Sabaton? The one I'm listening to right now is Hoots Force by Glory Hammer. At least I think that's the right way one. Or it might be the other way around. Hold on. Glory Hammer by Hoots Force. Sorry, other way around. I think. Yeah. I don't know, it's one way or the other. Glory Hammer's the band, okay. So, yeah. I keep flipping it in my head. Love Glory Hammer song? Nice. I found a nice board showing the difference between ZBrush and ZBrush Core. In short, Core have 32 brush and have a max poly count of 20 million. Okay. Well, there you go. There be the difference you were wondering. Whew. You always gotta remember when you have symmetry on and when you shouldn't have it on. I gonna have to go. Have a good night. Yep, you have a good night too, man. I'm not gonna stay up too much longer. I did want to work on this a little bit tonight, though. Oh, how's that looking? Okay, the gums are actually coming along pretty nicely. It's one of those things you gotta take a step back and look at it for a second before you're like, yeah, it's pretty solid. What's up, man? Two questions. One, what's the model scales you were aiming for? Alright, that's question number one. Two, what's the time over there and how are you still awake? It's about 2:05 a.m. and how I'm still awake? Raw determination to get this, to get Warglaive underway. Really get progress done for it. But question number one, what's the model scales you were aiming for? I'm aiming for a variety of scales. For like basic infantry, I'm thinking 25 mil, 25 mil to maybe 30 millimeter size bases for how big they're gonna be. For much larger, more imposing units, maybe mech style units, probably looking at something close to a 75 millimeter around, maybe bigger, maybe smaller. So right now, variety, I suppose. For this particular unit, this is going to be a basic Wrathan combat unit, so I'd say Wrathan basic combat unit would be about a 30 mil base, at least how I envision it in terms of miniature. Azragon, also your disregard for your health. And I don't really disregard my health, it's just, you know, my health is something that I can fix later. You know, and as it is, I'm not brutalizing my health or anything. you know, if I'm really not feeling it, I won't be working. But I have the drive, and I want to get this stuff done. I don't feel. Plus, you know, I'm not much of a heavy sleeper anyway these days. I have issues sleeping. Always have, so if I'm gonna be up anyway, pondering why I can't fall asleep, might as well be productive, and in my productivity, tire myself out a little bit and knock myself right out. Yeah, but you guys shouldn't worry too much about me. I'm a big boy. I'm responsible for my own health, and my sacrifices and choices are my own. I suppose it's better to be diving in head first to something like this. So healthy, kind of productive. Plus, it's kind of relaxing. Well, it can be. Sometimes it can be frustrating as hell when something technically goes wrong. It's like, why? But yeah, I don't 100% disregard my health or anything. Ah, I see you're blooming to gain entry into the Owl Club then. Owl Club? I don't know why, but that reminded me of that, fuck, what's the name of that movie? Master of Disguise, I think? Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? No, it's not. Am I not owly enough for the Owl Club? Oh. I don't know why, but the Dynamesh seemed to screw with the polys in a weird way. And despite the fact that it retained the enormous amount of polys, it also lowered their actual effectivity on the model. And obviously if you zoom out, it still looks fairly okay, but it softened everything and not undid, but kind of made me have to redo a little bit of what I already did. I don't know if that's normal for Dynamesh. It's not supposed to do that, I don't think. I'll have to keep that in mind next time I screw around with it. Dynamesh is a tool, by the way. It's just a weird tool. Trazen, what's up, man? Clearly he is trying to get into the rat club. They're up late at night, too. Nah, rats are assholes. Well, they can be, anyway. Depends if they're domesticated. Rats are absolute cunts if they're not. Just, they whore their way into your grain and they cause a bunch of havoc. They attack your cats. If your cats don't attack them first. Sometimes it's actually prompted because your cat attacked them. Ah, it's all over the place. Rats are assholes. I don't know. I had to deal with them growing up. I lived in the... that was about to sound wrong. I lived in the basement of my parents' house back in the day. In our previous home. But don't take that the wrong way. The basement we lived in, there wasn't really a basement. It was just slightly under the ground, but it was the first floor of the house. I was the only one who lived down there, though. I was fine with that, though. It's comfortable. Well, the downside was because I elected to live down there, and my dad was like, "Hey, make sure to light the wood stove so we don't freeze at night." I'm like, okay. A lot of pressure. I got you. Understood. Understood. Understood indeed. That was always my dad's weird way of like asking someone to do something. This kind of my dad asked people to do stuff by stating what the negative of you not doing that thing was. So instead of being like, hey, can you please take out the trash? It's, hey, if you don't take out the trash, the floor is going to be full of garbage and you're going to have to clean that up. It's like, oh, well, got it. Yeah, I mean, it worked, but still. I guess you can't knock the man for being effective in his arguments. Cleanse, purge, kill. Let me zoom out a little bit from the gums, see how that looks. Doing them one at a time is a bit of an annoyance, but worth it. Worth it indeed for the effects that it draws out. Specialist 444, what's up? Rats can get offed. Them and mice are horrible to deal with. Mice, I think, are worse. Generally. And most people are like, oh, you know, mice, cute little mice. No, those little fuckers will get into, like, computers and into devices and shit. Just like squirrels. And will wreck shit. Plus, mice are much more likely to chew on wires. Rats will go for your trash, at least, first. They go for something bigger. Mice! They're so small they don't give a shit. If it works, it ain't stupid. I suppose. Still gotta knock the old man once in a while. Yeah, my sister tried to get me killed the other day while we were eating dinner with my folks. Cause she was like, you know, Alec, because we were talking about, like, you know, growing up and like disciplinary stuff, and my sister offhandedly said, like, oh, you know, Alec, I think you could take Dad. I'm like, are you trying to get me killed? He's right there. He may be in his 50s. He could still kill him. With a look. Like, this man could kick my ass with minimal effort. He's done it. This man has been working trades jobs his entire life. He was an electrician, he worked at a paper mill, and now he works at a shipyard. This guy has been honing himself to lift fucking giant crates of shit. He also has been single-handedly built a farm in his life. Yeah, I'm gonna take him just because he's 50. Do not get me killed. Do I have to say that the head you're working on looks more canine-ish, more than rodent-like? Is that the aesthetic you're going for? Well, yeah. That is the aesthetic I'm going for, considering Wrathan are hyena. They're not rats. They're anthropomorphic hyenas. Actually, my problem is to me, it looks too angular. So that's been my problem. I've been trying to fix that, but it's giving me a headache. And the thing is, hyena ears are shaped like this, but so are rat ears. So that doesn't help the aesthetic be corrected. But yeah, I am going for a more canine look because that's what the Wrathan are. Think of them more as a hyena pack than a rat pack. What the f... Oh, okay, I just started that. Okay, I see why. Oh, not a rat. Like I said. Waifu figurines win. Waifu figurines for the Wrathan. Fuck it, I'll get to that at some point. Eventually. You know, it's always those little fucking holes that bother the shit out of me because you can't fix them. Can't really fix them anyway. I always hate that shit. I'm not quite built up here. I have no idea how to fix that fucking hole. Why is it even there? That's the other thing. Like I'm trying to figure out just why that's there. It's always that geometry you just are like, why? For me, right now my whole goal is to try and trying to imitate the gums right now anyway. So it works partially. No judge, everyone has its thing, I suppose. If I were you, I'd just say the dude that has a cat. Really, just move on. Well, I'm a I think one of my biggest flaws, I guess, especially when it comes to working on some of this stuff, is I'm a perfectionist. So when something goes wrong or it doesn't look exactly how I want it, I spend hours just trying to get it right. That is, I wouldn't call that a flaw most of the time, but I've had people tell me it's a flaw. It's like, hey, you try to be too perfect. I'm like, well, gosh darn it. Of all flaws to have, I think I'd take that one. It's better than the alternative. Like, yeah, it's good enough, and it looks like not even half done. It's better than lazy, I suppose. Well, I have friends who always talk to me like it's a negative. It's like, dude, you try too hard. I'm like, you don't try hard enough. They're like, yeah, no, look how happy I am. I'm like, you're not happy. He's like, yeah, but I'm happier. It's like, yeah, shut up. My friends and I shit talk in weird ways. Let me tell you, it's odd. actually liking how it's coming out. Awesome. Fantastic. There's weird cracks in your back. Actually, I haven't done this in a while, but I think this is kind of funny. Alright, so... Well... Okay. Okay. Over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. I can be such a kid sometimes. It's fun. Woo! I'm following. Follow my finger. God. Sometimes it's fun to easily entertain yourself. Be a great time. They're all kids, just different age. That's the path. Actually, one thing I definitely learned when I became an adult is the idea of maturity is 100% a facade put on for children. Like, it's a facade adults put on to have kids respect them. I learned that very quickly because on my very first job working for the United States Navy, designing destroyers, which I've mentioned many times, I know, but it's my biggest frame of reference. The guys in the office who were like 50, 40, 30, all like the number of times we got into rubber band wars, like when like a server went down and we were waiting for the system to come back online, was ridiculous. I swear. And the thing is, people had ammunition packed into their cubicle desks, like just a giant ball of rubber bands. Just it's like if supervisor went by, everybody would stop. And the moment supervisor would go, oh, it's all a lie. Maturity was a fantasy. Well, that was definitely a wake-up call as an adult. Maturity is 100% a facade put on for the sake of the children. So they can respect us. Did you win a few at least? I got a guy in the eye one time, and we had like that mafia code of silence kind of thing. So when his eye was kind of bulging and red, and the supervisor came by, and went, "Dan, are you okay?" He was like, "Yep." Did something happen? Nah, just it's a little itchy. Meanwhile, I'm over there like, he could have ratted me out and I could have gotten in trouble, but we all wanted to keep doing it from time to time, so I would consider that a win. Most of the time, there weren't really any winners, though. It was just something we did to annoy each other on downtime. Although we did keep tally of how many times we hit certain people. That was less of like a victory thing and more of a what's my top score kind of thing. Maturity will strike you when you get children of your own, believe me. Even then, it's maturity, I still stand by, is just this thing you put on for the sake of kids. The moment you're like, are you gonna tell me like the moment your kids are? I'm assuming you're speaking from a parent's perspective. You tell me the moment your kids don't turn like 20, you're not gonna start like lowering the facade and just acting a little bit more immature. You know, and talking to them more on your level. Granted, they won't actually be on your level, hopefully. I'm not, my dad and I still aren't on equal terms. We probably won't be. It's just one of those things where he's always in charge, I'm always not. And I'm okay with that. He's the dad. He'll probably be 80 and I'll be in my 50s or 60s and I still won't have an inkling of control. Which I am fine with because he's smarter than me anyway. It is not as much as acting, more as perspective on life. Even then. And the perspective isn't... I wouldn't call the perspective in itself maturity. That's more educated, I would say. You're just more educated on what life is. I wouldn't include that under the branch of maturity. Maturity is, again, it's how you talk to people. It's how you carry yourself around. Basically, it's just what kind of person do you pose yourself as to others. And kids, they don't care. You know, they'll be snappy, argumentative, tell everybody they're wrong, even though they are the ones who are wrong. That's little kids. And the teenagers are the ones who think they're acting like adults when they drink booze, when they smoke cigars and cigarettes, all that stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't consider like being aware of how life works maturity. I would call that just wisdom that you've gained over life. That's wisdom. Maturity, again, is just how you act around the kids. How you act around people in general. That's maturity. And I would 100% call that a facade because none of us act the same way we do in, let's say, church, or if you're not a religious person, and I'm not, but you don't act the same you do in church. You don't act the same... Sorry, Bruce Lee. You don't act the same way you do in church as you do, you know, at home when it's just you working on a project in the garage or something. You know, you might put on a song, you might dance along to it, act like a fool. And this is, you know, you don't have to worry about how people perceive you. That's like the maturity thing. Everything else, like doing taxes and you know, the way you handle certain situations as opposed to how you were with a kid, all that's just wisdom. That's experience. That's not under the branch of maturity. How you conduct yourself while you do those things, that's maturity. But again, that's part of like that way you behave around other people. God damn it. I hate how it randomly right clicks. It's like, why would we let that smoothly go by? Wisdom, how high your character level in life is. Pretty much. Wisdom is definitely something the thing is, you can be super, super old and not accrue too much of it. It's something I think that is less to do with years and what you did during those years, you know? Like, if you lived for 60 years, but the most you ever did was work one job the entire time and never traveled anywhere or did anything, you probably didn't accrue too much wisdom. But if you thank you, Nathan, for the super chat, man. How you doing? Teeth looking pointy as hell. Oh, sorry, looking mighty pointy. Yes, they are. I'm working on the gums currently, and the connection points. It's brilliant. Yeah, the Dynamesh kind of screwed up some stuff, so I had to redo a couple things, but otherwise it looks great. The problem is I gotta do the Dynamesh fuck shit again when I get to the big stuff. There is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Dexter, Jetster, Star Wars 2. Tsundere. Is it Tsundere? Tsundere? What is it? I never know how to pronounce that. Bet your old YouTube account banned for some reason. Did you say something? Did you post something? Oh, it's random. Random for them to do it for no reason. And don't get me wrong, sometimes the reason is garbage, but at least there's usually something they cite. Typically, like I said, it's YouTube. Sometimes they do stuff for no good reason. I did not comply with YouTube rules, that was the whole reason, hence new Gmail account, new everything. I miss my murderous kitten vibe. Eh. Well, it is their platform after all. Fortunately, you're on someone's stuff, you gotta obey their rules. It's the way of things, unfortunately. You ever had that moment when your like wrist makes that clicking noise? She's doing that to me right now. They are a horde faction. I actually mentioned that in my QA. Wait, were you at the Q&A? Probably not if you don't remember that. Welcome to the old people world, I suppose. Yeah, they are a horde army, though. It was too late for me? Ah, okay. Well, the VOD's always up if you want to listen to it in chunks. I know it's 4 hours, so I don't expect anyone to listen to it in one sitting, but... The spiel I do about the Wrathan is pretty quick at the beginning. Well, as quick as the 4 hours goes, so probably a half hour most of talking about them. Alright, so the whole upper jaw's got its gums all set. Excuse me. Ooh. Oh. Felt awkward. Ugh. I should be 13 hours ahead of East, I think. 13? So it's 3 p.m. for you. 13, damn. How the hell do you live? 13 sounds a bit much. Because GTM plus 2. No, I can't really Google it right now. My keyboard's vertical. To type, it takes me like 5 minutes. Actually, I can look it up on my phone, though. Is it GMT or GTM? Right. It's not really helping me. Hold on. Alright, so actually it seems you're 4 hours ahead of me. Not 12. GMT. Alright. Well, my keyboard is a horizontal keyboard. I just have it flipped vertical, so the Control-Alt keys and caps lock are all facing me. So that's so I can manipulate everything in ZBrush. Oh, you guys can hear the song? God damn it, I can't listen to these songs at max volume. That disappoints me. Because I want to be able to blast it. Alright. Is this a regular rat? This is just a regular Wrathan, Nathan. This is of the common horde. This would be the most basic of units. So currently 1 p.m. 45. So okay, it's 1:45 where you are p.m. Okay, now I'm even more confused. Because it said you were 4 hours ahead, but if it's a 1 p.m. for you... Alright, so that means you are 11 hours ahead of me. Not 12 or 13, but 11. Because it's 2:46 in the morning for me right now. Yeah, time zones are a pain in the ass. That is true no matter who you are. See, so I have any French viewers seen here? Actually, that's the thing. I have no French viewers to speak of. That I know of. I have German. I have British. One Latvian that I know of. And then a couple American. It's primarily German. Oh, one Swede, actually, almost for a calcio. I got it. Sorry. So I got a Dutch, a Swede, a bunch of Brits, a bunch of Germans, a Latvian. Pretty much everything else except American is primarily, and then a couple Americans. You got 2 Hungarian? That's true. Wait, who's the second one? Oh, yeah, never mind. I had to think about it for a second. I'm not American. I'm Iowan state first. Waves and tie. Alright. Finally say you're gone global. More or less, I guess. Yeah. Hey, Marine. Good morning, darling. Good morning, Marine. How are you? So, have you actually written the tabletop rules for Warglaive yet, or are you for? I haven't written them yet. That is way down the line. I'm still writing the lore. Yeah, but when I find that'll be the last thing I do at the end of the day. Because once I have the lore written down, I'll then know every unit I want to lay out for the tabletop. Once I have every laid out unit for the tabletop done. Most of the designing I'm doing now for the 3D models is just of things I'm definitively done with. I still got other stuff that's in the works. I think your appeal to non-Americans is the same reason why Europeans are interested to Americans. Some fresh blood? Maybe. And that could be why. Just woke up at 9 a.m.-ish. I'm good. That's good. You get plenty of good sleep? Okay. There it is. How are people supposed to paint the inside of the mouth, though? Small brush. Very small brush. Then I'll probably make the jaw bigger. It's adjustable, thankfully. Basically what you would do is you would paint the inside like a reddish pink through the teeth, and then paint the teeth after that dries. But even then, once you do the wash, everything in there will look super dark anyway. No, the Mini's not going to have a hinge, but I can, in this software, adjust the jaw. Although making the jaw adjustable for the Mini might be fun. I don't know how I would do that, though, off the top of my head. Not a Skaven Marine. How can you guys hear it? I'm wearing headphones, for Christ's sake. I didn't see your earlier question about Darktide. Oh, okay, yeah, I totally missed that. So when Darktide comes out, we pull in the boys back together for a series? Probably not a series, I mean, we couldn't even do a series before. But for a live stream or two, definitely, if we can get everybody together. As again, you know, there was a video where a person tried to survive only on a franchise merch, you mean? Food, clothes, etc. You did it on Evangelion. Any chance your stuff will be able to that in time? I'm not sure I understand the question fully. You know, there was a video where a person tried to survive only on franchise merch. But you can't eat, and I won't be producing anything you can eat. So, by that nature alone, no. If you mean like clothing and stuff, like I'm hoping to branch out and sell some merch for Warglaive. Shirts with just the logo on it, maybe big on, maybe a small one, but with like a pocket thing, and then like a big one on your back, or vice versa, sweatshirt, stuff like that. Yeah, but as of right now, I don't have any merch. That's something I gotta figure out how to do later. I know certain stores, you know, as long as you just put up the logo and stuff, they'll manufacture them. Like, I think Teespring does that. I think the Teespring store, they manufacture their own stuff. New unit for Warglaive, the Mace Sparine. What? Okay, will there be Warglaive toothbrush, Warglaive sandwich, Warglaive t-shirts, Warglaive waifu pillows, Warglaive soft drinks? Go full Japan in this. I don't have plans for all of that quite yet, but maybe. I am not opposed to the idea of having that much merch. That would certainly be interesting. To see out in the wild, people walking around with that kind of stuff. If I can find a way to manufacture it all, for sure. And if I think there's audience interest. Like, obviously, I'm not going to produce all this stuff and then nobody has any interest in it. If all flat. But if there's like a demand, if like people are like totally down for it, definitely. Never offer supply if there's no visible or notable demand. Basic business virtue. Or I guess a basic virtue of business. Space Myrain. Thank you, Nathan, for the super chat, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. See if I can get these gums done before I keel over. Oh no, it's doing it again. It's doing it again. I did this last time. I got to a certain point and started doing this weird pixelation shit. Hoping that glitch goes away when you restart. Rush. I don't even know if it's a glitch. It might be just a button combo I'm accidentally pressing, but I'm very careful just to select shift when I do that, which is the smooth tool. Yeah, see, even professional software like this is not without its flaws. Alright, looks like it's back to normal. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. It's random when it does it, but as long as it auto fixes itself once I reload, it's not even a notable issue. It is annoying when it happens, though. That is for sure. Terrestrial Ranger. Actually, that's pretty fun play on Space Marine. Be happy it wasn't made by Bethesda. What wasn't? Oh, the ZBrush? As far as I know, it wasn't made by Bethesda. But you never know these days. Sometimes companies have weird parent companies, and parent companies, and parent companies, and then you trace it all back to some commonly known thing like Disney, right? In this case. I don't know, but Pixelogic I think is like a German company of some kind. Well, German, Northern European, I think. Don't quote me. That is a total guess off the top of my head. It's just based on some info I saw randomly, which I might very well be wrong. In fact, it probably isn't the more I think about it. Okay. You heard about Warhammer Plus? Yeah, earlier, not today, obviously, yesterday now, I did a whole stream watching the Warhammer animations bullshit. It should be right on the channel page. Go to look at uploads. It should be the stream before the one before this, so 2 streams ago. Yeah, watched the whole reveal, and it was just a bunch of garbage. And that's the best way I know how to sum it up. It was essentially just a giant pile of garbage. Nothing really of value. Especially since they spent over an hour. They spent close to an hour, 40 minutes solid of just bullshit. And 40 minutes for animation previews. You probably could have fit all the animation previews and a little bit of whatever the fuck they were talking about, which really came down to, I think Warhammer animations are cool. Yeah, they could have summed up their entire spiel like that. But nah, they had to drag it out and pretend they were actually saying something. It's like, hey, let's waste people's time for 40 minutes and show nothing. They even fucking had the audacity to rickroll people, essentially, and, like show the logo of the animation, zoom in on it, include a voiceover, and then immediately cut to these two assholes just sitting there chatting away. It's like, I don't care. I don't want to see you right now or hear you right now. I want to see some Warhammer previews. The one actual preview we got to see was also the one animation I'm least interested in. And I also wasn't impressed with the quality. And again, for fan animation, it was awesome. It wasn't fan animation, though. It has their official seal. It's an official professional product, and I'm going to judge it as such. And it was not a very good product the moment you look at it with a professional lens. The sound editing was very bad. The weight in animation, the lip syncing, there was so much there that needed vast improvements. And they kind of showed it off as if it was a finished product, which tells me they have no idea what a finished animated product looks like. I was very disappointed overall with the reveals. Very disappointed. There was no quality for that video. There really wasn't. And the best looking part was when they were more reliant on shadows, which that's universal with animation. Whenever you're animating something, whether it's in 2D art or 3D, shadows are a huge they do you huge favors because they can obscure bad details that weren't quite finished or weren't quite the best. They can make animations seem more fluid because you can't make every single detail out as things are moving about. Animation and shadows go together like peanut butter and jelly, or peanut butter and fluff if you like fluffernutters. You know, they're a match made in heaven. The moment they shine too much light on it, it doesn't help it. And the animations felt really hollow. They didn't feel like they were given their proper time. It felt like someone did like their first pass at the animation. Not saying they didn't take their time, but they took their time but only did one pass at it, and then called it good. And then whoever edited the sound bites in, especially for when the Stormbolter hit the ground, I don't think they gave a shit. Either that or they were drunk and didn't give a shit. Whenever I see Warhammer going downhill like it has been lately, it drives me towards working more on Warglaive harder and harder. Not out of spite, but just out of, like, I want something to love and engage in, and when it comes to grimdark sci-fi again. This Warhammer's just losing me. Well, the current paradigm and where it's going is losing me. I'll always be a fan of what's been there, but where it's going is really upsetting me, to say the least. It's the way of the world, I guess. There's the gums completed. How's that look? Ethiopian food? That's spicy. Looks happy now. Glad to hear it. Alright, now to get to the ears a little bit here. That one. Zoid Industries, what's up? Hi, how's it going? Decided to join you for a bit before going to bed. Alright, alright. Make sure to get the rest you need, man. Stay up on my account. But thanks for joining for what little time you can or choose to. That's fine. Just doing some final touches on the Wrathan head before call it a night. Probably from here I'm gonna move on to what do I wanna go for, like the full body in ZBrush, or yeah, I think I'll do the full body in ZBrush, but I'll do like the armor in Maya. I think that'll work. Maybe. I think. Yeah. Kind of mumbling to myself there. So once I finish the head, I'm debating on whether to model the rest of his body out in ZBrush, do everything combined in one mesh. If I do, it's going to be a lot of fucking polys. But once I do, I'm probably going to move the model into Maya, which is another 3D software, and from there do basic geometry to build the armor. So I can save some on polys, because if I do the armor in ZBrush, it's going to be fucking crazy. It's going to be kind of all over the place. There is an anime YouTuber, Giguk, who I like very much. He is very... Giguk. I don't think I've heard of Giguk. Are we going to see a naked rat boy? Yes, technically, but it's going to be androgynous. Meaning I'm not sculpting out the assets, if you will. Cause that's unnecessary. Entirely. So I can play the teeth. Boss completely done. Great for a bit asthma, remember. Huh? How many softwares do you use? For 3D stuff, 2. Technically 3 if you include Chitabox when it comes to splicing everything for 3D printing, but just 2 for actual modeling process. Maya is also a rigging and animation software, so it's a professional quality one. Like, Maya is the industry standard for most studios for both the gaming industry and the AAA market, and in Hollywood for animations. Maya is becoming the baseline tool for all animations. In fact, Maya and the renderer I use, Arnold Renderer, were used to make Pacific Rim, if you know that movie. So all the animations and stuff was done with Maya. I like Maya. Maya is a great software, especially for animation. I'd say its biggest flaw is that you can't do details like this in it. It's not a sculpting software. That's why ZBrush is usually industry standard for high detail, realistic models. You do it at that in ZBrush. For geometry manipulation, animation, and rigging, Maya beats everything. They're highly specialized software for what they do. Man, my back. That's when you feel the burn. It's like, how's your back? I'm fine. I'll survive. No genitals? Boo. Oh yeah, well not everyone's a sexual nutjob like you. I mean that in the most complimentary way. Yeah, but I'm not gonna model out the dong. Yet. Actually, that's the thing. There's someone I know who's actually in the indie market of gaming still. He's a friend of mine, and he actually is starting to get into the Rule 34 side of the industry. And so he's been 3D modeling and designing, and he says nothing is more he's actually told me this. Nothing is more surreal than opening up ZBrush to model and mold a dick. I went, how many references did you have to look up? He said, I just took a picture. I don't know. I feel how awkward that would be. You probably get over it after the first 3 or 4 dongs you gotta mold. Want some Wrathan dong? Unfortunately for you, I'm not going to be modeling that. YouTube might have a problem. Well, boys will be boys, I guess. I suppose. And he's paid well. Well, as far as he tells me. He still has a primary day job. That's just what he does as a part-time job. But as I hear it, he's in combination with his primary day job, he's making a pretty decent amount of money right now. Though he works during the day in his day job as a 9-to-5 job, then does the other stuff at night, and then goes to bed, and then repeats that process until he takes like 2 days off every weekend. So I'm like, when do you have time to spend all this money you're earning up? He went, I'm saving up to buy a house. I went, you have enough to buy 2 houses. Don't think like mansions or anything, like 2 cheap houses, like two $90,000 houses. You know, the fixer-uppers. He could buy those right now if he wanted. How many head variants of the Wrathan head are you planning on making? Quite a few. This is the most base variant. On the upside, I can save this as a ZBrush tool and just drop it in, and then I can mold like a new eyepiece or a new scar or whatever on the same head. So now that I have this base head, I can just save it as a ZBrush tool, and that can save me a lot of time from having to do everything from scratch. I'm going to do the same thing for all the other human factions, the Volk, same deal. You know, I'm just going to make a base variant of their heads and then use that as a tool. I can just drop a copy of it into ZBrush and add onto it as a separate file. It's a way to save time and save sanity. How did you afford this house so easily? 2 words, 3D dongs. In combination with a day job. He still makes more from his day job, but he makes a decent bit of cash doing freelance. And you can. It's less steady of a paycheck, though, than working for like a AAA company. But work is work. Work is work. Pays off somewhere. Usually. There we go. Now I saved the head, and keep it in mind. Can you guys hear this one now? Hope not. Alright, so I think we're ready for the body. Alright. Actually, no, we're not gonna do just cube. I gotta pull up Pierce's artwork for reference here. Shouldn't you go to bed? I should. Will I? That's a different question. I'll just get the basic start of the Wrathan going, and then I'll call it a night. I just want to get like the actual thing going at this point. So this will be the hump into the back, more or less the neck. Alright. Always progress to be made. This Wrathan's face. He is just smiling. Or the closest thing they do to smiling. Used to say, sleep is for the weak. It is. Sleep is what you do when you have time to be sleepy. What is sleep, and where do mortals find the time to Exactly. Damn it. Despite how big you can make this, you can't do that, huh? Well, I need the movement tool to be bigger, though, because I'm not going to be able to properly mold this into place if I don't. I guess I'm gonna have to rough it. I was hoping to make it a little bit more. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna have to rough it. Let's try and get the general shapes. In the morning, when you use all the details in Spore for the face. Yeah, don't worry. This will be plenty detailed. Just gotta get the general spine shaped out here. There we go. General body shape there. But now I want to go into more detail. Now that I'm on a roll. It's almost 4 in the morning. It's a hump. The skeletal structure of this haven looks not very efficient to me. Well, it's not an efficient creature. Individually, they're very ineffective at most of the shit that they do. As a horde, they're very effective at what they do. They're not a highly evolved race. In certain ways they are, don't get me wrong, but in many ways they're not. But it also depends on what you mean by not very efficient. Why would it go up and then go back down to the head? Because it's a hump. It's a stretch of the neck. Actually, as it is, I think my hump's a little aggressive. Do they keep water in the hump? Yep. It's just an extension of... It's just how they have evolved. If you can call what they are evolved. Transition's a little bit smoother from the hump. Yeah, but they don't really have much of a smooth skeletal structure. It's very redundant. The hump is just, again, it's a spinal shape they evolved with in terms of a purpose, it doesn't really serve one. When they're on all fours or when they're crouching down, it helps them stretch their neck out a little bit. But otherwise, it's just kind of a biological redundancy. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose. Correction, if only they had finished evolving with a little help from lab coats. And weren't a rushed job. Wrathan into upper body. I don't know if I'll rename it to that, because most of the stream was on the head. It's only this last little bit that I'm kind of quickly and roughly shaping out the body. Alright, well, even I can't continue to ignore the heaviness I feel right now, so I'm gonna call it here. Well, I said I'd probably better save that carefully. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming by, guys. I will probably work on this tomorrow. Today, tomorrow, what? Yeah, later. 6 or 7 hours from now. Yeah, but I'll head to bed, try and sleep, and wake up and probably get back to working on this or some other stuff. Thanks, guys, for hanging out and chilling with me. Hope you guys enjoyed it for when you could, and, yeah, have a good night, guys.